Books 1 ends, the Gutenberg Books 1 begins. So in other words, this is exactly the opposite documents. You can't compare them because they're not the same thing, okay? So that also would have to go into your error report. So again, list the two documents and then say initial proof. Don't say page numbers because it's irrelevant. These two docs are totally different. Can't compare. These get the same files. Okay. All right. So those are the two biggest errors that you're going to be looking for, exactly the same or totally different documents. Obviously neither one of those can be compared. Beyond that, what you're going to be looking for is things like typos. As you could see, when the red comes up, it means that there's a difference between the two documents. If you've gotten one document that is a very strong document and one document that's a little bit weaker, usually the strong document is going to have copyright claims on it and the weaker document won't. So the strong document, by comparing it with the weak one, we can show up the mistakes in the weak one and then quickly change them, okay? So you're going to be looking those sorts of things. They'll come up in red in the file compare. You're going to be looking for typos, things where the transcriber in the weaker document didn't do such a good job, so that's just simple things like, you know, a spacing error or things like that. Punctuation changes where semicolons are read as different symbols. Sometimes periods can be read as commas or commas can be read as periods, you know, things like that. Those will also come up in the file compare and you're going to need to change those. Unless it's an error that occurs more than 10 times in the document. If that is correct, if you're going along and you're changing things and you notice the same recurring error, then that needs to be put into the error report. You need to stop changing them. So instead of, as you can see up here, we've listed the page number and the error found on that. Now, if you keep going along and you're changing things and then you write down the error and you keep doing that and it's been like 10 or 15 times, then obviously that needs to be changed by somebody else who can just run a program. So we're going to note it down for the taggers and they'll run a program to fix it. But you're looking for typos, punctuation errors, spelling errors where things, you know, like H's have been changed to B's, or letters have been left out, or, you know, letters, words have been spelled like in the old British spelling, you know, things like that. Those are things that you're going to be watching out for. Sometimes you can quickly change it. You don't even have to write that down in the error report, okay? If you change something and you change a comma to a period and it only happens 3 or 4 times in the document, then don't worry about it. Don't write it down, but just change it. If you don't change something that is an error, you have to write it down in the error report, okay? You're also looking for missing content in one of the example that we talked about in the last video. There was a huge section missing that was brought up by the file compare, so you have to watch out for that, okay? Each document must be content checked. So if there is something missing in a document, we can't use it, because when we publish these things, we are pretty much saying these are the full books, these are the full documents, okay? So fill out your error report. Just as you go along, make sure to keep this document open. If there's not a page number, then just say in what chapter it is, or you can number the pages in Word, you know, things like that. Just something so that you can go back and you can find it again, because the file acquisition editor will tell you, I wanted to correct this, or don't correct this, or something. So you'll have to be able to go back and change those once you hear back from the editor. Okay? This whole process will then tell you which of these two files that you have received is more error-free. And also, after you've changed those files, what you've actually changed, okay? So this document will allow the editors to decide, this initial error report that you have will allow the editors to decide which document is more error-free If the documents are not even worth using, there are going to be some that aren't, like that little catechism one that we looked at. We may not be able to find another copy of that. So if we can't, we're going to just have to be able to just say, well, it's not worth having in the set because there are so many errors, we just can't use it. If a document requires deeper proofing, so it needs to be gone through line by line, and whether they can do that, or if the programmers need to write a program to fix an error, such as an error like H's have been changed to B's, and things like that, where a program can be run to fix those. Okay, so the error report document is very important, and we will go into that in the next video. After you're done with that, you've done your file compare, you have filled out your initial error report, and you are going to send that filled out error report to your supervisor and the editor of the set. Okay? And then you'll wait for a response.